Hi there everyone, my name is Stuart from Marshall Music, and tonight on Stu Speaks With we have a wonderful bass player, an educator and all-round amazing musician, Mr. Carlo Mombelli. Thank you for giving up your valuable time to come and speak with us.
Very nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So we always kind of kick off these conversations with a little bit of, tell us about how it all started with you musically, and when did you become a musician? Did you always just play bass? What other instruments did you play?
Okay.
And when? I mean, tell us some of the background to your beginnings.
Okay, my father, well, before that, my mom took me to ballet when I was 8, and saw Swan Lake.
Yeah.
And I heard the music, and I just knew I wanted to be a composer. I wanted to play piano. But my father was a chef, Italian chef, cooking pizzas, and he wanted me to cook, take over the business. And so I never got any support until one day in his restaurant. He was 12, and I was singing. He had a cover band playing some covers. I used to listen to them and sing along in his restaurant, and I was singing with, and just as in the audience, just listening to him. Someone said, listen to his voice. We need him for the Drakensberg Boys Choir. I told my father. So my father said, no, he works in my restaurant. He sings in my restaurant.
You're not taking him.
Yeah, so my father had a good idea to use me singing every night in his restaurant. And the strange thing was my father was always in a lot of trouble. Because,
did he pay you for it?
No, not at all. Not at all. And he, at those days, you remember, this was now in the early 70s, the censorship was very heavy in South Africa. Nipples were like forbidden, taboo. I mean, the statue of David had a fig leaf over art, all of that. So my father had a very famous strip artist, Glenda Kemp was her name, stripping in the club, in the restaurant, the band. And so I started my career as a support artist for Glenda Kemp, a strip, and she would come on with Opa, which happened to be a python. The python used to wrap himself around her. So I started at the age of 12 doing this.
Wow.
And singing, and then of course I failed school hopelessly that year because that's all I did every night. And that was
your friends must have thought you were the coolest dude ever.
Yeah, probably. But that was my first introduction, and then my mom and dad separated, and I went. And then my next introduction to music was I always still wanted to do music, and when I started at Pretoria Boys High, and they had music as a subject, and then now's my chance. I'm gonna go. My parents didn't know about it. I went and enrolled. I said yes. They auditioned. Said, this guy's got incredible ears. Yes, So, and then I went over to my mom. Listen, I'm doing music as a subject. So I did that for a bit. I did music there, and then I was doing. When everybody was playing football with a little tennis ball, I was practicing the brace because I didn't have a piano. I never ever had a piano. And would go to school early to practice piano, and also my first idea about composition was when I started walking around in the forests at Boys High, and people thought I was a little bit nuts because I would listen to the sound of the wind, how it affected the trees, the birds, how they spoke to one another, and I started listening. So I would sit there for a long time just listening how nature created its own reverb sound. It started creating these loops. I would get, and then there'd be a space and a silence, and then there would be an answer. Then later I would get. So I said, I want to start creating compositions that had these loops, and I'm still doing that today. I'm still creating little compositions with loops, and it comes back from what I heard at high school from them, and then I started working with. I saw, of course, I was into classical music. Loved Bach, Beethoven, and rock music. Got into Led Zeppelin, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Pink Floyd, The Police. I loved The Police because I was very much into Bob Marley at the time. I loved reggae music.
Yeah.
But then I started to discover, someone introduced me to Weather Report. That's where I heard Jacko. And I said, okay. Then I begged my mother, she bought me a 60 Rand Epiphone guitar, found out the Jacko played fretless, managed to get the frets off that, and I started practicing with the fretless. But, so that's when I started with the bass, when I was 16.
Okay.
And was relentless. I started practicing like a lunatic. And
did you not play keyboard again, literally?
No, I still play. I compose at the piano.
Okay.
I compose. Piano is the master instrument.
Yeah.
You have to be piano friendly.
Yeah.
As I have an acoustic piano at home. I'm old school. I sit at the piano still today with a pencil and a rubber, and I compose.
Yeah.
And I've always been into composition. Always been composing. And the strange thing with this thing with Jacko is I always felt I wanted to do my own thing. And I saw Jacko using a delay. And then I realized, wait, I can create my loops with a delay. So I started working with delay pedals. Even before I got my first Jamman, which was a Lexicon Jamman in 95.
Yeah, they came out very late, didn't they?
Yeah, so I've got two of those still.
Yeah.
And I've been looping for everyone. Everybody's looping. Everyone like doop, and then they take a nice solo on top. Yeah. I mean, that's so boring. I mean, it's been done so many times, and so I started looping because I wanted to try and create the sound of nature.
Yeah.
And then I always tried to find. I never worked at Jacko's solos. I worked at his compositions. I was interested more in the compositions.
Yeah.
So I worked at Portrait of Tracy when I was 16. I still worked that out. I used to go to music shops in Pretoria, and I was a 16-year-old. I just started, and I would play Portrait of Tracy, and I would get everybody's attention. But when I really got into playing, if someone said to me, "You sound like Jacko," or "You sound like Marcus Miller," I knew something was wrong. I never want to sound like Flea. I never want to sound like Jacko. I always knew. So if someone told me I sounded like Jacko, I would try to find what it was that made me sound like Jacko, and delete it out of the way that I play.
Well, that's pretty advanced because most people would just go, "Oh, thank you so much," and carry on.
Earlier on, I was always a bit insulted. That's probably because I was very immature. But now, if somebody says that, I take it with a pinch of salt. But then I still go back and I tweak it. I try to tweak my playing to make sure, because I really believe that everybody's got something different and unique.
Yes. Well, let me interrupt you quickly and just say that you are absolutely unique, and that's wonderful,
Well, the thing was that I realized really then, it took a while for me to really realize, but I started working more on my compositions. I practiced a lot. I mean, I used to practice like 10, 12 hours. I didn't even finish school because,
it was bass.
It was just bass, and I actually left home very, very young. Actually, a year later, I was out of the house.
Okay.
I was working in a music shop on the weekend. Powertone was
Which music?
Powertone music. It was in Pretoria. I was still in school, working in the music shop on the weekend, trying to pay my little. I was staying in a place called the Troy Dean Hotel in Sunnyside. So I had a little room there, and going to school and practicing very hard. But I always composed, and I realized that people don't look at composition with the same importance as they do the playing.
Yeah. But
the composition is there, the playing is there. Because, I mean, I love Miles Davis. I only discovered jazz in my Miles Davis when I was 22, but I was already listening to. So I found Weather Report, then I found Jacko. Through Jacko, I found Pat Metheny, that trio record. Through Pat Metheny, I found Joni Mitchell. through them I found ECM records, then Eberhard Weber. Then when I got married when I was 23, my wife introduced me to Keith Jarrett. She told me who Keith Jarrett was.
That's a nice
so
discovery,
I started discovering all these things, and I never became a jazz musician. I understand the concepts, but I don't know what type of musician I am, because I love all music. I love someone playing a mouth bar. I love Miles Davis very much. I love Radiohead, electronic music. I love all the stuff. And so if Radiohead bring out an album, I don't care how well they play. If I don't like the music, I'm not going to buy the CD.
Yeah.
If Miles Davis plays great on an album, but I don't like the music, I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
We are attracted to compositions.
Absolutely.
And I've always had good bands from Johnny Freeble. I learned to play jazz with Johnny Freeble because he heard me play when I was 22.
Okay.
And then that was my school of music, because I had the 6. Johnny Free's the guru. And he heard me play in a competition, and he said he wanted me to play in this gig 6 nights a week at Spats at Santon.
Santon, yeah.
And Duke McCarthy was playing, and Neil Etheridge at first, but then Kevin Gibson, he was like 16 at the time, he came in and played. And Johnny used to teach us while we were playing. In the breaks, he said, listen, won't you just play there? Wrong scales, wrong kind of approach. And then we would sit and we would practice it in the breaks. We weren't outside smoking a joint somewhere or having a drink at the bar. We were practicing in the breaks.
Cool, very cool.
And then we would go out and play. So I learned to play music.
Yeah. What a great education.
That was my education. Yeah, that was my. And then I was always. And then later on, Johnny was attracted to my composition. So if you've developed your compositions, and you can only develop your compositions if you do it.
Yeah. You got to do it.
You can't.
You
Nobody.
learn it almost.
Nobody can teach you to compose music. They can teach you orchestration, arrangements. It comes from you. Like no one can teach you to improvise. Someone can tell you about all the scales and can teach you all the stuff, but you can only learn by doing it. You understand? So for me, I realized that if I want to learn if I want to be a patient person, I can go to all the seminars, write, I can even deliver an academic paper somewhere about patience, but it doesn't make me a patient person.
No.
I'm only going to be patient if I'm sitting in the traffic jam and do it.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the same thing with the composition. So when I was at school, I got so many compositions I wrote, and they're all horrible and terrible. I mean, I've got a pile, I promise you it's like this, of compositions. And I've got a note on there, on these compositions that says, if I'm here no more, and you find this, please burn it. So, because everybody, you pass away, and then everybody wants to release all the stuff that you don't want them to hear.
No, don't do it.
There's these 2 guys, Mungelo and Tolo. They've been filming me, my gigs and stuff, for 32 years now. They're busy making a documentary on what I'm doing. And I saw them the other day at a gig I did at UJ. I played an improvised concert there last week, actually. I said, when are you going to... So I realized that actually this is going to be released when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the end of the docu. It's taken them 32 or many more years, of course, because hopefully. And listen, I'm turning 60 next year.
Okay.
And you know how much music is like? I'm more excited about music now than I ever was.
That's awesome, because you can get jaded.
No, never, because I'm still practicing every day. I teach at the university.
Yes, we'll talk about that now.
I didn't finish school, right? But I'm a professor.
And now you're a professor.
I'm a professor at Wits. It's because I went back to study, but it's because I get at sometimes 4:30 to practice before I go to Wits. Because it's the only way that you can keep your...
You know that's not normal.
For me it is. It's the only way that you can develop, and there's so many things that I don't know.
Yeah.
That I'm looking, I'm searching all the time.
Please tell those youngsters that louder, please.
Okay, I've been a
Kids think, oh
okay.
yeah, no, I've mastered the guitar, and I've mastered the...
Okay.
Come on. Yeah.
I've been a professional musician now, 40 years now.
Yeah.
40 years. I'm turning 60. I started with Johnny Faree when I was about 22, professionally. And so I've been...
And you've just scratched the surface of what you want to...
I've just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
There is so much there. And so much... I want to develop my technique more. Even though, my whole approach is tone. My first thing that I'm searching for is tone. If you got a bad tone, nobody wants to listen to you.
Well, you don't want to, and they don't want to. Yeah.
Tone is number one.
Not...
Develop your tone, and it's all got to do with how many people play with vibrato? Very few. But vibrato gives you I teach vibrato to my students because it brings out the sound.
Yeah,
it makes it sing.
Hello, not
Even
enough bass
on bass.
players.
No, they play, it's dead. You want to develop a sound, tone, it's intonation, it's tone, time, understanding time. So I practice with a metronome. I know Jeff Berlin says that you mustn't practice with a metronome, but I believe you should. But
He's in the minority here.
How you practice with it. I'm not trying to develop a computerized perfect time. I hate playing with drums that are so perfect. I can't play with them because it's not. They're not painting. It's too perfect and too well thought that the fills are too. I can't work with. I've played with session drummers. That's why maybe I'm not a session musician. I started off in the sessions when Daniel was also doing gig sessions. Yeah. SABC, I was also doing sessions. I started my first session actually was at SABC, and Johnny Faree was on the session.
Okay.
And Tony Moore.
Yeah.
That was my first session on fretless ever in my life. Fretless bass, and I think it was because Danny couldn't make the gig.
Okay.
And they called me, and Johan Lars, Lalo Pele.
Was Danny playing fretless as well?
No.
He couldn't, hey?
He wasn't. I don't think he was on the gig.
Yeah.
And Bob Hill was playing on the contrabass. Yes, I was nervous as hell. And I really got up early, warmed up there. And then after a while of doing many sessions, I realized I'm not. And I think to be a session musician is fantastic. It takes an incredible skill. So session musicians shouldn't look at people that can only do one thing. You can't look at Paco de Lucia and say, look, Paco de Lucia can't play country music. Paco de Lucia can only play flamenco music.
Yeah.
He can't play the blues.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Because sometimes they say, musicians must play all styles. No. Van Gogh does Van Gogh. But then there are musicians that can play everything. I mean, I have great respect for Steve Gadd because you can still see Steve Gadd whether he's playing with Barbra Streisand or with Chick Corea.
Yeah, and Vinnie Colaiuta is another.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah. So I have great respect for all these. There's a lot of session guys, and they can read. My reading really is terrible now. I used to be able to read.
It's deteriorated.
Oh, completely.
If you don't practice.
No, no, it's because I'm at the point in my life now where I don't want to play in other people's projects anymore. I really pick what I want to play in. I'm basically only playing my own music.
Yeah.
And when I play my own music, when I perform, my eyes are closed and everything is memorized. I don't need it. Of course, I probably can read much better than many people.
Yeah.
Okay. And I write scores and I do arrangements. And I was a copyist in Europe for an orchestral company.
Okay.
Writing by hand before Pro Tools and Logic and all this thing.
Must have been such a mission.
Listen, my writing is very good. With a calligraphy pen, you stack calligraphy pen, sandpaper, get the nib of the calligraphy pen, exactly the right thing. And you got paid per page. So orchestral works, I worked for Ricordi, the publishing company. And we'd have an orchestral part with like big, where you needed two conductors, and then I would take the woodwinds and maybe the violin section. There'd be 4 copyists always. And we would be, as we were writing, we would be transposing from there. So the orchestra would get the handwritten charts from us. So it had to be accurate. So I learned to read a lot from
that's the best.
From writing. But that I did in the late 80s, early 90s in Europe. But and then, of course, I played in big bands in Europe. I actually got a job playing in a casino band in Europe where we had to wear tuxedos and high stress, a pad like this, and the conductor in front. We did all the casino circuit in Europe, playing some in France. One day we played in Berlin, then the next day we had a gig in Geneva.
That's
for 3
cool,
years.
eh?
It was a stress because it was 6 hours long a gig.
Okay.
And the guy would say, number 300, and you still looking for 300 there. You've never seen the chart before, and he's counting, and then we had to back all these superstars, Vicky Leandros and Gloria Gaynor, and so they would bring charts. So at that stage, my reading was good.
Okay.
I realized, but that's not what I want to do. I wanted to play original music. And I came back to South Africa. I mean, I had some nice gigs in Europe. I was teaching a conservatory there. And back to composition is what I realized. Composition, people ignore it, but it's so important because I write a lot of my music now on the bass. So I write my compositions that are coming from an instrument. And then I'm developing my style to play my music. And then my music's developing because my bass playing is developing because of the composition. So the compositions are developing because of my style.
Yeah.
And my style is developing because of my composition.
Yeah.
So if you want to develop something original, compose music.
Yeah. It is the most important thing.
It is the most important. And all the people that you listen to, everyone, name people you like. Eric Clapton, Scofield, Pat Mazzini.
All the greats.
They're
songwriters.
They're songwriters.
Yeah.
And you listen to Scofield plays like that because he wrote his compositions like that.
Yeah.
Pat Mazzini sounds like that because he wrote his compositions like that.
Even all the greatest guitar players, they're all composers.
Of course, nobody remembers Beethoven because he was a great piano player.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Tell us a little bit about Wits, your history with them and where you are now at the moment and what a ride that's been, eh?
Yeah, well, I was a composer in residence in 2004. I've been teaching for many years before that, sort of on and off. I started at the Richard Conservatory in Munich as a lecturer, and I know that I can teach because I taught myself. And I think I've got myself to a decent level. And I've learned a lot by teaching, by just trying to, and you know, I taught myself most things. There was a guitar player, people know him, so I mentioned him. I used to carry, you know, those days in the 70s, a guitar doesn't come in a gig bag like we got now. It used to come in a coffin, okay?
I wouldn't know about the 70s, I wasn't born.
You used to carry this thing. And we used to walk to the rehearsal room. In the holidays, I had this band at school, and we had a shop in a shopping centre. They gave us a shop. We put newspaper up on the windows, and then we used to sleep there. In the holidays, all we did was we slept there. We used the toilets of the shopping centre, and we played music the whole day until we could get some takeaways.
Oh,
that was what we did.
Sounds like heaven.
We just played music all day. But when I had to get there from Sunnyside to Arcadia, I had to carry. I offered to take his guitar and my guitar because his brother was a great musician, knew all the Moers, and so every time I took his guitar, then he'd show me what the Lydian scale was. So
he was the coolest dude.
I worked for my knowledge, and then I started making little notes in a little book. Still got a Mickey Mouse cover, still got this book, little dots and how I played. And then I released that book in South Africa. Then Hal Leonard, you know Hal Leonard?
Yeah, of course.
They saw this book. They contacted me. They said to me they were in South Africa selling their products, and they saw this book. They bought it and loved for music. The book was there. They contacted me from my publisher from America and said, look, they love this book. They want to release it on Hal Leonard. They said, no. They want it for South Africa, so they've got the rights for South Africa. So my book that I started making the dots and the way that I play all on my own is released in America, Canada. It's in Japan. It's in Australia and in Europe. And I know in some conservatory in Italy, they contacted me. They're using my book.
You know, you gave me a copy. Do you remember?
Did I?
Many years ago.
The green one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What's it called?
Mombelli's Intergalactic
That's
Bass
it.
Program.
So anyway, yeah. So I started reading this book and higher grade. Straight over my head.
Okay, well, Hal Leonard released it, and it's released on
It
Real
was
African
super cool.
Publishing.
It is the most different music book I've ever seen.
Okay,
I
good.
wish I understood it.
Well, look at it again. You probably will understand it because it's so. It's. I don't want to.
It's fun.
You know, when I
and it's-
teach, I don't try to be clever.
Yeah.
I come down to the students
Yeah.
because a good. You know what? I've realized. I mean, I've learned a lot about teach. So at Wits, I started at Wits in 2004 as composer in residence, and then I said, look here, as my they're only a classical musician. I said, look, I'm going to start an improvised classical ensemble because classical musicians can improvise.
Yeah. They didn't. They were quite reluctant to do
So
that. Really.
I started this, and it was such a success. They got me back, and then Jonathan
Well done,
started also at Wits there,
Around
and
the same
I started
time,
around the same
Yeah.
time. And I started a little jazz course there, and it just grew and grew. Now we have a good program.
Yeah.
A good program. Good musicians are there. Jonathan Crosley's there, but
Highly
he's
respected. Yeah.
teaching classical because he's an incredible classical musician.
Yeah.
Malcolm Land, classical. And you know what? I'm actually, because I started off as a classical musician, so I'm a classical musician trapped in this body of what music I play.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
But my whole approach is from an acoustic classical approach.
Yeah.
And we've got now, and Andre Peterson is there, Karen Schlangu is there, Vuma and Naveen, the guitar players there. So we've got good players,
Yeah.
but it's still an academic institution. And at first I fought against this idea because I've been working in conservatories. I still actually work in a conservatory in Europe, one of the best in Europe. I get invited once a year to go there in Basel and walk around there. And there's Kurt Rosenwinkel and Joshua Redman is teaching over there. All these other cats are there now
top cats.
because they get invited once a year to come in. So I get invited to go there once
That's
a year.
awesome, eh?
So I know that environment, you know, and it's a type of place where 10 Pakistanis arrive for an audition and then they take the two best. It's this guy, so the students are good. But, and then I started realizing actually it's incredible to be able to learn about critical thinking, trying to understand how it's amazing to be able to really look at your own works and analyze your things. And the most incredible academic staff there. The musicology department is really incredible there. So people go to other places and they finish their 3-year degree, and then they come and they're doing honors at Wits. So I've got Keenan Arons, who's an incredible guitar player. He actually recorded my last CD.
Okay.
He's in my ensemble at Wits. So I run the honors and the 4th year ensembles.
Yeah.
And I teach a jazz program there. We all do something there. So, but it's an amazing place. Yeah.
And what do you
And
have
I
to-
just bought an amp from you. I
Yes,
think, yeah.
yes. It arrived there today.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
It's very nice at that.
Yeah,
Long bass.
yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
CDM. What's it? CDM 121.
yeah, because we needed something decent, and of course I'm into tone. Remember tone, time, taste. It's my other one.
Tone,
All the
time, and taste. I like that.
Taste has got to do with for me. And look, we've all got different taste. So you might have flurry, fluffy orange carpets in your house, and I like black
How
keyless.
did you know?
Okay, no, I could just check it out. But I can't come to you and say, you got terrible taste.
Yeah.
So taste has got nothing to do with maybe style or...
Well, and the same could be said with tone, but not
Yeah.
quite as
But
much.
taste has got to do with, from playing music, you start understanding what quality is. Taste has got to do with quality.
Yeah.
So I can be a furniture maker that understands everything about cupboards and joints and woods from this, and I can walk into someone's house and see a piece of furniture that's not what I will have in my place, but wow, this comes from Prussia. Do you know what you have here? So you can actually So I can listen
You
to
can
it.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it because you really can understand the quality of it. So I can listen to any music
And appreciate it.
it because I understand what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. That's important. That's super
So
important.
that's what taste is about. And it's for me tone, time, taste, and the last thing is technique.
Okay.
We have to develop technique. I believe an artist doesn't need technique.
Your technique is very, how should we say, unconventional. Let's talk about that.
Right. Well, look at what you know what technique is. So if Van Gogh saw those incredible paintings inside when he closed his eyes, he was an artist even before he had technique.
Yeah.
The art is inside you.
Yeah.
What technique does, it's the ability to take what you have inside of you and share it with the planet.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And if you don't have those tools, your art won't come out. Yeah.
That's right. So you need to have those tools, and the better your technique. So we strive our lifelong, we strive constantly to develop and improve our technique and to tell our stories and to tell what we have.
To get it out.
To get it out.
Coherently
and share it with the planet.
Yeah.
And we musicians are storytellers.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young, I used to play Jamisons every Thursday night, and when I did the regular shift, I couldn't care about the people. I used to have people screaming, "Play something we understand." I was just playing all avant-garde and stuff. Now, as I'm getting older, I want to share with people. I want to tell stories.
Speaking of, have you got any social media links? Have you got any websites? Any info you want to give to people to go and check out your work or see you live?
Well, it's just carlomombelli.co.za.
Okay.
I had a .com until somebody in India stole it.
No, you
tried to sell it back to me, and then I went to So luckily, it's just if you go .com, it's now a furniture shop.
Okay.
But because I refused to ask us .co.za.
Yeah.
You know about creating. So I've got an email address list.
Yeah.
And when people come to my gigs, if they want to give it to me, I add them.
Yeah.
Never add people to your contact list. Never add people that don't want to be on there.
Yeah.
If someone wants you to, they say, well, can you give me some information on your gigs and that? And because I know that I've got a hell of a database of everybody that wants information.
It's a real database.
It's a real database, and I don't, and I've kept it confidential. I don't give it to any other musicians because people trust me with that.
Yeah.
So when I used to live in Yeovil, I had a band called Abstractions, and we recorded with Shifty Records. This is in around 84, 85. I used to also collect, people used to at my gigs, used to write their name and address in a little book. Always used to have a book on a table somewhere.
Yeah.
And then once a month, I got to, and I don't throw stuff away. I still got my first Atari 10, whatever, computer with my first Cubase. I don't have a single crack. I bought every software that I've ever, that I own. I bought it. I've never felt a need for. No, I've never felt a need for buy. I always bought. So I've got my first Cubase program. It's black and white. It's in a big file like this. Yeah. My Atari was 1 megabyte.
With all how many discs? I've
got a lot of discs and a big red dongle.
Yeah.
I've got about 6 different tape recorders still. People are going back to tapes. I don't know why, because they were inferior quality. But I used to use tapes live. Then what I used to do, because I loved sound design, but I also used to go up and down in lifts because I loved the sound when it stopped.
Yeah.
I used to on the AF radio, when I was still in school, I used to, people are looking for a clear station. I used to look for the noise in between. I used to just sit and listen to, I used to just sit and listen to the sound of this radio. And then I started collecting sounds on tapes, and then I would I would put them on a tape recorder, little tape recorders, and with a volume pedal. So I would have lots of tape recorders on stage with volume pedals. And before I got on stage, I would switch them all on.
All right.
And then I would have them off, and on each volume pedal I'd say, this is birds, this is thunder. And as I'm playing, I needed some thunder, I would bring in the thunder. So I've still got a lot of those.
That's cool, eh? That's cool.
My house is like an antique shop. Yeah.
So now, before we're almost out of time.
Oh, serious?
But
we just started.
But the cool thing is that you can click on the link in the description below, and we're going to do a video. There'll be a video of Carlo demonstrating his gear and some of his crazy technique.
Okay.
So watch out for that.
Luckily, I've got my basic.
Yes. Like we're out of time. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time and for joining us. It's really cool.
Well, sorry I spoke so much.
No, that's what we want. That's the whole point of this.
You only asked me 2 questions.
The whole point of this is for me to shut up and for you to talk.
Okay.
Honestly, that's the trick.
Well, peace and love to everybody.
I think you know what we need to do. I think we need to get you back for another interview some other time.
Okay.
I want to talk more about tone, taste, time, and technique.
We started talking about a metronome, because I don't use a metronome for metronomic time. I use it to develop. Okay, well, I use it for consistency of time.
Yeah.
To develop. No, but I used to have a metronome running, and my mom used to drive. I used to drive up and she said, "Sweet up, anything." I said, "No, but if the metronome's going, Mom, I'm going to develop good time." Wrong, mistake. Don't do that.
We'll talk more about this.
Okay.
That's all we've got time for, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us on Stu Chats with, and that's all for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.